Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Arsenal newsroom. Welcome to the Brighton Preview, where we're going to be talking about Arsenal's injury updates from Mikel Arteta. That press conference was this afternoon. Brighton's team news as well. What team should we be going into the game tomorrow with? How much should we rotate? And also some good, positive contract news coming from Sammy Mokbel. So we'll talk about that as well. And we'll probably talk about the hypocrisy going on in the media at the moment. I've actually made a whole separate video, courtesy really of Hand of Arsenal, on the hypocrisy of set pieces. But before we get into it, if I could just ask you to subscribe, and if I could thank you, genuinely thank you. We have hit 25,000 subscribers, which is an incredible milestone, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. So thank you very much for that. But if you're new and you've not subscribed, we're on the way now to, I'll say 26,000. 50,000 is the next big goal, but 26,000 will be the small one. If you could like the stream as well, and also if you're watching the replay, go and do the hype thing in the comments. That would be great. Thank you very much. And it is good to see loads of you here. Ethan Udal is in the building. Oslo Guna, Serunity. Philip Jakobsen, Vivi Vlad is here. You love to see it. Ethan Udal. HOA just buried someone again. Yeah, Hand of Arsenal has been on a tirade on Twitter. HOA is too goated. Yeah, yes, he is. What a man. Ryan Henderson's here. Nid is here, assembling the Goon Platoon. You'll have to see it. Logical nonsense. And plenty of others. Wasn't Roy supposed to sing live when he hit 25k? Pretty sure that was 100k, wasn't it? Don't know about that one. Ren, good to see you. Welcome. But yeah, look, overall, the team news is not too bad from Arteta's press conference, I would say. Our squad is good enough that we shouldn't be sacrificing any competitions. Trophy is a trophy. I agree. I think it's really interesting. We'll get into the sort of lineup that I would go for. Intrigued to hear what lineup you'd go for. But I think the overall thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of differing opinion. There's, some people want us to rotate the entire 11. Some people don't want us to rotate much at all. Some people want us to take this competition seriously. I'm probably somewhere in the middle. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. By the way, if you are watching on TikTok, I appreciate it. Please do the like thing by tapping the screen. But mainly, come and join us in the YouTube. The link is in the bio for that. But throw-ins, I know. Top of the table and stretching out. Pause. Rotate the 11. I don't care if we get knocked out. Probably the best thing for us. See, I don't think it is the best thing for us. We'll talk about it in a bit. Look, let's get through the injury news first. So, Arteta on Arsenal's team news. On Saliba, he is out. We are assessing him, but he will not be involved in this match. So, Saliba, On Martinelli, it looks like he's going to be out as well. We have to do some more tests and see the extent of the injury, but this game is going to be too early for him. So that is Martinelli and Saliba. On Rice and Calafiori, Declan will be fine, and Ricardo Calafiori as well. Yes, that, big relief. Big relief, especially on Calafiori, because with what he said after the game, it was a little bit concerning. But it seems as if Calafiori is fine, which is great. On Saka, he said he's going to be fine as well. Obviously, with Saka, it was illness. It wasn't injury anyway. And so, all things considered, that's not too bad. Saliba and Martinelli out, not ideal by any stretch. Rice, Calafiori, Saka, all fine. On Ben White's fitness, he said he had a setback, and that hasn't helped. It was an injury that kept him out for a few weeks, and then we had to manage his load. The reason why he's not been playing is to manage that. He's in a good place now. He's been training more recently, and he has been feeling very good. And then he spoke about why Ben White hadn't had surgery for his injury sooner. He said, we want to protect our players, and we don't want to expose players. If not, we're going to damage them for the future. But with Ben White, he will play with anything, and you have to really scratch him and ask him, are you okay? Because he won't tell you because he wants to play every game. Now, I don't know exactly how true that is. I mean, look, you got to take Arteta's word for it. I think they probably knew that Ben White was carrying an injury because from all accounts, he was having injections for it. So I think they were aware that there was an injury. The reality was there was just no way of dropping him when Timber and Tomiyasu were also out. So, yeah, I think it's really good, though, that we've given him as long as possible. And he had a little setback, and again, we gave him as long as possible. The only thing you have to be wary of is that you don't end up running Timber into the ground to protect Ben White in the same way that we ran Ben White into the ground to protect Tomiyasu. So, yeah. But overall, I think it's okay. The Martinelli one worries me. Sounds like it's muscular, so he'll probably be out until the next international break. Yeah, I think so. I think that's the one that seems like an actual injury. Which, look, ultimately, Martinelli hasn't been starting games. He's been very useful off the bench. You would hope that between Brighton, Slavia Prague, Burnley, and Sunderland, we can get through those games, and then, he should be back after the international break. Because the way he was moving, I don't think it was like a bad muscular injury. So if you give him effectively a month until after the next international break, that should be fine. But yeah, like you said, not annoying. Do you think Brighton go full strength tomorrow? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they will. Maybe. They've got a couple of injuries themselves that I'll talk about in a sec. Arteta on, and this was interesting because a lot of people are putting Waneri into their teams for tomorrow. Arteta on Ethan Waneri's positional change this season. He said at the end, the context of Bukayo's injuries and not having a replacement as well opened that opportunity for him to break in and have a lot of minutes at his age. And now that he's more settled, he's more stable, more mature, we see him a lot playing inside in both positions. That's where his biggest threat is. So basically, he's saying last year, not by choice, really. He came into the starting 11 in games playing off the right wing because of injuries, and that was great for him. But now we're kind of, reining him back onto the path that he was meant to be on, which is to become a midfielder, and he's maturing a lot with that. He said that's where I think he feels most comfortable as well, and he can connect better with the teammates. But it doesn't mean that he can't play wide. He can do it still, but I think now we need to start developing him more in one position. So clarifying what has been speculated quite heavily, Waneri is going to be an attacking midfielder, and that is the plan, and that's where we see him. Arteta on Arsenal's attacking options, and if it's hard to rest Victor Gyökeres at the moment, he said in the front lines especially, that's where we have more difficulties as well. With Madueke, with Havertz, with Gabby Jesus, and now with Gabby Martinelli out as well. So that's an area that we have to be more careful, more conscious, because we don't have that many options. So as I said, we're going to try and manage the load as good as possible and to make sure that the players are fresh, they can compete really well, and the team can maintain the level that it's showing. So that's it for the team news. Nid said, read my last message. What did you say, Nid? What did you say? As an international fan, I'm not qualified or allowed to comment, but I hate seeing the empty seats 10 minutes before halftime and full-time. I agree, Nid. I agree. Especially on weekends. The only time, look, yeah, if you leave 10 minutes early, you can probably save yourself about half an hour, right? It never takes more than half an hour to queue up to get into the tube, right? So you can leave 10 minutes early, you can save yourself half an hour. But, and on an evening kickoff, fair enough, maybe you need to get like the last train or whatever. But when it's a 2 p.m. kickoff on a Sunday and we're 1-0 up and we're holding on to a 1-0 lead and I'm seeing that many people leaving, you haven't got the last train to get to. Like, you're just not that into it. And that I really don't like. I really don't like it. So I agree. But yeah, so on Arsenal's injuries, that's where we're at. I do think Gyökeres needs a rest. In terms of Brighton, Matoma is out, James Milner is out, and Gruder is out. I believe they're the only three that are injured for Brighton. So whether or not they go full strength, however, is a different question, because I feel like, look, are they going to look at it and go, we can win the Carabao Cup this year? Probably not. Maybe they do, maybe they have a Newcastle run, but probably not. So what's their best chance to get into Europe, which is ultimately the goal? I would say finishing higher up in the league. Especially now where it can go down as far as 8-9 places. So yeah, I feel like they would maybe be focusing on their league games. But we'll see. What did I miss? Who's injured? Martinelli and Saliba are both out. We don't know the extent of their injuries. Calafiori, Rice, and Saka are all fine, so that's good. Are you going to get the new Football Manager? Nah, honestly, I've never been a fan of Football Manager or career mode. I can't get into them. I don't really like playing video games that aren't either like multiplayer against other human beings. I enjoy because it's like you're going toe to toe with a real person. Or if you are playing against a computer, like a shooting game is fine. But I feel like with Football Manager and with FIFA, I'm just like I don't want to play against the computer where the computer just decides what happens based on no rhyme or reason. Even to the extent where I don't like playing against the computer on FIFA, where if I get a penalty and I line up to take the penalty and I'm going left, the computer knows I'm going left. So it can just choose to stop it. I don't like it. Who gifted 40 last stream? Steve Pereira, the absolute GOAT that is Steve Pereira, gifted 40 last stream. If we don't win this competition, it's okay. I just don't want to go out to Brighton. Yeah, I agree. The final bit on Arsenal players was this that Sammy Mockbell said today. Arsenal are building a team to last with contract renewal drive. Bukayo Saka talks have progressed and are advancing. There is also optimism regarding Jurriën Timber's new deal, and Declan Rice is set to be on the horizon. So that is Timber, Saka, Rice. On top of already having done Gabriel, Saliba, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Ethan Waneri. And then you look at a lot of our other players, they're still, they've still got ages left on their contract because they're new signings. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. Anyone else hoping Arteta dropped, given I invented this in football? Yeah. That guy, what an idiot. That Ian, what was his name? Ian Doyle. What an idiot. Max Dowman. Yeah, Max Dowman as well. Obviously, that's a different type of contract because it's a scholarship, but yeah, important nonetheless. Zubimendi this, Mosquera that. Berta and Heinz are the best signings. Honestly. But this is what I'm saying, though. At the moment, I just feel like across the board, we've nailed it. Like, in Arteta, I genuinely believe you have one of the best managers in the world. In Andrea Berta, it seems like we have one of the best directors of football in the world. You look at the coaching staff, we've got some of the best in the world. The players, we've got some of the best in the world. The academy products coming through, some of the best in the world. Like, we're in a good place right now. We are in a good place right now. Carter has arrived. You'll love to see it. Berta has opened my eyes to Edu's shortcomings that I didn't fully realize at the time. Yeah, me too. Jim is in the building. Good to see you. By the way, Jim, you are in the 50% of gyms that I like. So don't fret. Have you seen Lee Gunner saying that everyone should be thanking him for raising the standards to where we are today? Oh, yeah. Literally the most predictable thing you could possibly have imagined. Yeah. There's nowhere else the gimmick can go at that point, right? It has to go in that direction. There's no other path it can go down. Do you think we can go on and win the Champions League after winning the league, or is it a different battleground? Listen, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There is no reason that we can't, right? But there are also lots of reasons that we can't. So, I mean, that doesn't make much sense, but you know what I mean? Like, we can do it, but also it's incredibly difficult to do. So yeah. Been telling you for 2 years that Edu was incompetent and we've outgrown him. Fair play. Yeah, he was. In hindsight, he was. How bad is the Saliba injury? We don't know. We don't know how bad the Saliba or Martinelli injuries are. Arteta said that we've got to wait for more tests. I don't think they're bad. In terms of, I don't think they're going to be out for months. I think Martinelli might be out until after the international break. Maybe Saliba ends up being the same. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be kind of having a 3 to 6 month injury with either of them. Seeing my first game tomorrow since Arsenal versus Norwich about 10 years ago. You'll love to see it. I will also be there. I will be there. But look, let's go on to... I'm here. Let's go on to the lineups for tomorrow. By the way, 7:45 kickoff. I think most people just get used to it being an 8 p.m. evening kickoff for everything now. It is 7:45. Back to the good old days. Let's have a look at what lineup they've gone for. So, they've gone mental. They've gone Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Saka, Eze, Trossard, and Gyökeres. It's not going to be that. In terms of what I would do, I would keep David Raya in goal. I would keep David Raya in goal. I know a lot of people put Kepa in. I have never cared about rotating the goalkeeper. And for me, especially when Raya is such an important part of everything that we do, like, I don't see the point in rotating him out. And you might say, yeah, but what if he gets injured in this game? If he gets injured, he gets injured. That's just bad luck. But for me, yeah, I would play David Raya. I would play Ben White at right back. It sounds like, from everything Arteta is saying, Ben White is ready now to come back in. He also, something I didn't read out actually, he also said something else in the press conference, basically saying he thought Ben White was basically our best player in pre-season. He said Ben White played every game in pre-season and was basically our best player. So I know some people were trying to pick up on this, like, oh, Arteta doesn't rate Ben White anymore. Ben White had a tough game against Olympiacos, and Arteta was shouting at him a little bit. He still rates him. He does still rate him. Obviously, Saliba's out injured, so I'd then go Mosquera. I'd stick with Gabriel. I would stick with Gabriel. And the reason why, and I've seen people going like Mosquera, Hincapié, Calafiori, or Mosquera, Hincapié, Miles Lewis-Skelly. I don't want to rotate the entire back line. I think it helps to keep someone in there that is the sort of stalwart. And for me, that would be Gabriel. Which, look, I appreciate some people wouldn't do. I would keep Gabriel there. I would play Hincapié at left back for his proper debut. I would rest Calafiori because, albeit he's not injured, I don't want to run any risks on him. And the longer we can avoid Calafiori playing twice a week, the better for us. So my back line would be White, Mosquera, Gabriel, Hincapié. In midfield, I would then go Christian Nagel alongside Miles Lewis-Skelly. Now, truthfully, I don't think this will happen. I don't think Arteta will do this. I would love to see it, though. So I would go Norgard and Miles Lewis-Skelly with then Ethan Waneri in the 10. I would be very happy with that. And the reason why is that Norgard really is a screen. Norgard in the 6 really is, you know, he's deeper than Zubimendi and Rice. He's protecting these two. Allow Miles Lewis-Skelly to play the 8. I'd then play Waneri in the 10. And I can see people saying Marino has to play. And I don't disagree that Marino has to play. My front 3 would then be Saka, Leandro Trossard, and Mikel Merino. I would go Mikel Merino up top. I think Gyökeres needs a break, and I don't see any alternative. With Martinelli injured, previously, I'd have said play Martinelli through the middle, but he's injured. So I think to give Gyökeres a break, Merino has to play up top. That's why I've got the midfield that I've got. I would start Saka, and that's going to raise eyebrows as well. The issue is we just don't have that many attacking players. And actually, Saka was ill last week. He wasn't injured. So he was ill. He played like 60 minutes on 50% and then came off. So I actually think you can start Saka. And then you've got Eze to come off the bench. You've got Gyökeres to come off the bench. You've got Dalman to come off the bench. You've got Rice and Zubimendi to come off the bench. And so I think we would be okay. So that's what I'd do. There's no alternative to playing Merino up top if you want to give Gyökeres a break. Gone way too soft. Well, this is what I'm saying, right? So this is what I'm saying. This is why I think it's interesting, because there are some people that will say Saka should be rested, Gabriel should be rested, Raya should be rested, in which case effectively you're saying rotate the entire 11. And there are some people that are saying we should go virtually full strength. I think the team that I just read out is capable of beating Brighton. I really do. Norgard, Skelly, Waneri in midfield. That's asking for trouble. I think I back it. Admittedly, I don't think it will happen. So I am saying I don't think it will happen. It's what I would do. I just like it. I like it. I like the balance of that as a midfield. I think it would work. Now, there's a worry that they've never played in midfield together before, sure. But yeah, I think it would be all right. And then, yeah, in terms of Brighton have got Gruder, Milner, Matoma, Hinchelwood, Webster, and Solly March all missing. So this is their predicted lineup. Who knows? Like, I think we're capable of beating that. Man United beat this team. Man United just beat this team. Why can't we with a rotated team? I'd rather that than risk players and get them injured, to be honest, for the Carabao Cup. Marino in midfield? Yeah, but who are you playing up top? Why couldn't we have got Grimsby at home instead of Brighton? Yeah, it is a bit annoying. If you think Downman should start, he can't. He's young and Brighton aren't a joke. Yeah, Downman off the bench for me. I wouldn't start him. If you think Marino in midfield, who do you think up top? Surely we agree Gyökeres needs a rest. If we agree on one thing, it is surely that. And Gyökeres is going to play against Burnley. So, United should have beat yous. Well, they shouldn't, because they didn't. They probably did give us one of our tougher games this season. I'm surprised Nid hasn't said, like the stream yet. He might have done, to be fair. There's nearly 300 of you here, so if you could like the stream, if you've not done already, I would be appreciative. It costs you nothing, but it does help me. Could have Trossard up top and Eze on the left. You could. I don't know. I feel like Eze could probably do with a bit of a rest as well. If Eze is going to continue playing in midfield, I feel like he could do with a bit of a rest as well. I mean, I think the interesting thing is I have no idea what the lineup's actually going to be. Like, genuinely going into tomorrow's game, when the lineup comes out, like, I think it's going to be a surprise to everyone, probably. Have Arsenal ever contacted you in regards to collabs? No. And I don't think they ever will. Generally speaking, Arsenal don't collab with any kind of, like, content creators like me. They'll collab with, like, chunks. And I don't blame them. Because the problem is, as soon as they do a collaboration like that, there's almost like a responsibility that they have for anything that I say. So we just need to survive these next 4 games until we get Kai, Noni, and Martin back. Yeah, I agree. How much was your ticket for tomorrow's game? I think it was like 35 quid. It wasn't a lot. The only game that we get the space or an open game, we can't play Gyökeres. I'd love seeing Gyökeres tomorrow. I know, I'm just worried. Rory, the TikTok chat is... Yeah, it's terrible. That's why I don't read the TikTok chat. Like, I appreciate everyone that watches on TikTok, but I don't read the chat because it is just horror. Would you ever go on the Loose Cannons pod? Yeah, I'd go on any pod. I would. Graham, good to see you back. You'll love to see it. Hearing fans saying they don't mind going out is ridiculous. We're in no position to be picky over what trophies we're in. Well, this is what I think. I, generally speaking, don't care about the Carabao Cup. Mine was 15. Well, lucky you, Carter. Junior Gunner. Yeah, generally speaking, right? And I've said this before, and I will always stand by it. I don't care about the Carabao Cup. Winning the Carabao Cup for me would not make an unsuccessful season successful. Okay? That said, right now, everything I love about what we're doing is momentum. And that momentum continues with a win. So in terms of everything that's happening in the league, everything that's happening in the Champions League, everything that's happening off the field in terms of contracts, it's momentum. I'd like to see us beat Brighton to keep that momentum going. I don't want a loss on this run. And so that's the big thing for me. And then ultimately, yeah, if we get later into the season, I do think we're positioned probably the best to win the Carabao Cup this year because of the depth that we've got. You know, God knows what Liverpool are going to do tomorrow night. Like, Liverpool tomorrow night, they don't have much depth, but surely they have to rotate because they're already struggling with injuries and they've got Villa who are going to be fully rested at the weekend. And, you know, if they lose to Villa and we win against Burnley, they're 10 points behind us. Like, that cannot happen for them. So I'm looking at them. I'm looking at City. They're going to have to take the Premier League more seriously than we do whilst we're the ones that are out in the lead. So, yeah, I'd like us to win the Carabao Cup. I think it's beneficial. Obviously, winning a trophy is nice. And that's it. That's it. We're winning all the trophies this season. I hope you're right, Graham. I do hope you're right. How to get a ticket if you're an international fan with no membership? Honestly, Adam, I don't know. Truthfully, like I would assume you would have to go. You'd have to go via a third-party like resale site, but I couldn't even recommend one because I refuse to use them. So yeah, can't help you there, unfortunately. I apologize. In my opinion, Waneri and Skelly should definitely be in the midfield because that might be the future. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, realistically, is there a future for Miles Lewis-Skelly at left back when we have Calafiori and we have Hincapié and we have Gabriel? I'm not convinced there is. And I don't mind that because I think he's good in midfield. I think he's, as an 8, like, I think maybe not the future, but yeah, I would happily see him there. So, I don't know. We'll see. Rory, a full-time YouTuber now with that set-piece video? What set-piece video? I lose track of what I've made, to be honest with you. Oh, the video I just made. Yeah, literally the video I just made. Honestly. Yeah. Go and check it out. After the stream, I made a video. So feel free to go and check that out. Basically about the hypocrisy of the media. It is insane. Like, it is insane. They are absolutely gunning for us for basically no reason because none of them have ever had an issue with set pieces in the past. And they're talking about how it's ruining the game. They're talking about how the Premier League is regressing, all of that stuff. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And the thing is, and one thing I've seen as well, which has annoyed me because it's wrong, is people saying, well, Man City never had to... Because we say, right, well, teams keep setting up in these low blocks against us. This is the only way that we can beat them. And people say, what about Man City? Man City never used to have to do that. They would play through the block. Guess what? They don't anymore. People keep saying, yeah, Man City... The level of the Premier League has improved so much over the last few years that Man City can't do that anymore. Man City aren't doing it this season. And when they try and do it, they're getting caught in transition, the exact same as Liverpool. So to say that that's what we should be doing is nonsense because it's not possible anymore. It is not possible to play this super attacking, free-flowing football against teams that are far better at dealing with it and far better in transition. And now you look at your Bournemouths and your Brentfords and even your Sunderlands. They're too good to play like that. So we're doing what we've got to do. I'm assuming you'll be at the match tomorrow. I will be at the match tomorrow. Yeah, I will be there. If you're not already, please do subscribe. Please do like the stream. There are over 300 of you here, which we love to see on a little Brighton preview midweek. Rory, how did that happen to the like button? What do you mean? What do you mean? How did that happen to the like button? The promoted team spent almost 400 million combined. Can't tell me the level isn't the highest it's ever been. This is the other dumb thing about the narrative, right? Oh, the Premier League's rubbish. Arsenal are only going to win because it's the most rubbish the Premier League's ever been. Oh, hang on a minute. How are we doing in Europe? How are the Premier League doing in Europe? Last UCL game week, the Premier League teams won 19-2 on aggregate. 5 teams won and Spurs drew. Currently, the Champions League table, 5 of the top 11 are Premier League teams. You can't tell me that the level of the Premier League teams has dropped. The difference is, if you are a Chelsea now, you can't go and win in the Champions League midweek and then have a little bit of a rest at the weekend against the Sunderland, the newly promoted Sunderland. Get through the difficult Champions League game. We can probably beat Sunderland in second gear. You can't do that anymore. That's the difference. That's not because Chelsea are worse or because the top Premier League teams are worse. It's because the Sunderlands are better. That is the difference. Apologies if there's a bit of lag. My Wi-Fi has been a bit iffy. So apologies for that. Is this your full-time job? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I am very, very blessed that... Not just YouTube, mainly like TikTok is mainly the job. But yeah. What did you think of the PSG guy that you had to debate on whether the Prem is a Farmers League? What did I think of him? He just didn't make any good points. Like, I think that was the main thing. he didn't make any good points. And then he basically started making my own points for me. So, yeah. To be honest, on that video, in my opinion, if you've not seen it, a video on Zach Jalab's channel yesterday was these European fans debating Premier League fans about, most of them about basically the Premier League not being as good. So the PSG fan, right? French guy sits in front. Well, he was arguing with other people first, then I sat in front of him. And he was trying to argue that the Premier League is not just a Farmers League, but the Farmers League. He's trying to argue that the Premier League was the Farmers League. He got cooked. So he wasn't very good. The Bayern Munich fan, I didn't think was very good. He was basically, I can't remember what he was trying to say. Was he trying to say that Bayern were better than any Premier League team or something like that? There was a Real Madrid fan. God knows what he was on. He was terrible. Lovely guy, terrible. And then there was Luca, who's a Juventus fan, and Luca was quality. The thing is, he knows about Italian football from the 90s and early noughties, and no one there did. But yeah, he knows what he's on about. So yeah, they went 1 for 4 on the European fans. Hopefully, get to see you one day at the Emirates, top creator. Hopefully. As always, if you ever... But actually, speaking of that, I met someone at the Crystal Palace game. There was a guy sat behind me at the Crystal Palace game who, normally, if people recognize me from TikTok, that's one thing. There was a guy sat behind me at the Crystal Palace game who is a member of the Goon Platoon. Actually, I don't know if he is a member of the Goon Platoon, but he is definitely... someone that watches the YouTube streams. So that was very cool. But yeah, if you ever see me at the Emirates, come and say hi. Pretty sure I met Ethan Udall before as well. Was it Ethan Udall I met? I think so. Big fan from Norway. You'll love to see it. What do you think the starting 11 will be tomorrow? I honestly don't know. I think, there are certain players that I'm like, they're definitely going to start. Ben White is definitely going to start. I think Norgard will definitely start. Outside of that, it's difficult. It's difficult to know. Where's your seat for the Brighton game? Honestly, can't remember. All I know is it's pretty high up. I was pretty annoyed because everyone won the ballot, but then my seat is quite high. My seat is quite high up. Do you get stopped in the street much? No, not really. At Arsenal games more, obviously, right? If there's anywhere I'm going to get recognised, it's going to be at the Emirates. But I wouldn't say I'm... people don't flock to me in the street. Let's put it that way. If I ever meet you at the Emirates, I most certainly am not a member of the Goon Platoon. Imagine people just start... Imagine in public, people started introducing themselves as a member of the Goon Platoon around other people. Be like, what the hell is going on? Who the hell is this guy? Certified members of the Goon Platoon. Juve was my team from 1994 to 98. Then I fell in love with the Arsenal. Crazy. You'll love to see it. Anyway, I think we're pretty much done. There's not much else to talk about, to be honest. We've got the Brighton preview. There's no more Premier League stuff to talk about until the weekend. Can't believe that name stuck. Yeah, me neither, to be honest with you. Rory, me and my friend are out for the Arsenal-Wolves game in December, coming from the USA, so let's hope for a win. Do you recommend anything for a first time going to the Emirates? I mean, look, if it's the first time you've ever been here and you're probably not going to come again, or not for a long time, I would do the stadium tour. It is cool. So I would do the stadium tour. Yeah, we spoke about the contract renewals. Arsenal have built Sammy Mokbel. Basically, we've made progress with Saka and Timber, and Rice is up next. So that was the contract renewals. We did speak about that briefly. There's not a lot else to say. But yeah, do the stadium tour. I would go into the Armory. Other than that, I think one thing that's cool to do is to just generally wander around North London, go into a couple of pubs, go through the tunnel with all the murals on it. I think you can just get a feel for what it's like, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but what happened with the Atletico beer video thing? Good question. I actually haven't seen it. That's a good... I completely forgot about that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I probably need to email them because I don't know what happened with it. Anyway, it is time for the quiz question. Get your fingers on your keyboards. As always, the winner wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks football community. So, fingers on keyboards. Get to the game early. Embrace the full match day atmosphere. Yeah, 100%. 100%. So, this is the quiz question. We lost 3-1 at home to Brighton in the Carabao Cup in 2022. But who opened the scoring for Arsenal? We lost 3-1 at home to Brighton in the Carabao Cup in 2022. But who opened the scoring for Arsenal? Loads of you got it very quickly. It was a fairly easy one today. But who got it first? It was RH3108. Eddie Nketiah was the correct answer. RH, congratulations. Ethan Udall put Carl Hain. To be fair, I was thinking about a question around Carl Hain because he did play. But no, that was not where the question went. Uzair was second. Logical Nonsense was third. VV Vlad was fourth. And Ross Lawman was fifth. So there we go. Congratulations to RH. He is the winner. And there we go. Ross Lawman with the VAR check. Goal given. That is going to be the end of the stream. A little bit of a shorter one today, but I do appreciate you joining. And apologies. The Wi-Fi thing has been flickering a lot, so I don't know how likely it's been for you, but thank you for sticking with it. As always, please do like, subscribe, and do the hype thing in the comments if you're watching on the replay. We will be back with a video match reaction tomorrow evening. There won't be a live stream because I'm going out before the game. So yeah, there will be a match reaction, and then we will have a live stream on... we might not have a live stream on Thursday, actually. I'm going and I'm meeting up with some of the TikTok boys. So the next live stream might be Friday, which is annoying, but that is what it is. Yeah, other than that, enjoy your evenings, and I will catch you all on the next one. Until then, goodbye.